Hi Tim, welcome to Cloud Pandit. In this Microsoft Fabric Master Program, so in today's session we will be talking about walk through Microsoft Fabric application. So remember, so this is a complete hands-on where we will be walk through of complete Microsoft Fabric application to see how we can able to use each tab that we have under Microsoft Fabric. So let's get started. So the main tabs in the Fabric is first tab is called Home tab. So it basically provides a quick overview of your workspaces, recent activities, favorites, widgets to create the artifacts. Artifacts means it can be a pipeline, data flows, notebooks, anything that you want to create, and recommended documentation based on experience that you selected. So for example, if you are in the data engineering, whatever documentation is required for data engineering, all those things it will show there. Next, each item which you see in the home is called a artifacts, can mark as a favorite. Why we will add them into the favorite? For example, I'm working on the data factory pipelines within the fabric. So I can just add the pipelines as a favorite so that whenever I want to open the favorite pipelines, quickly I can check on that, right? So because that will be available always in the favorite list, quickly I can access it. So you can also search for a particular artifact, filter the artifacts, sort them as required, right? So let's quickly see how we can able to do. Okay, so you are here. If you see, so in the Microsoft Fabric normal, this is the first page, right? First experience where we can see different experiences and read documentation, explore community. Let's say if I go for the data factory experience, if you're in the data factory experience, you'll be able to see, because these tabs will not change based on the experience. These tabs is something which are fixed for this particular app.fabric.microsoft.com fabric applications. So as we discussed, home is basically used for creating the different artifacts. So you can create a pipelines, you can create a jobs, you can create the notebooks, you can create the lakehouse. Along with that, so if you come down, you can able to see based on the experience, there is a recommended documentation. If you want to open the, like recently opened frequently open this my workspaces and frequently opened your data lakes, frequently opened like this is again a workspace which is I created. Okay, this is again the lake house which I created a storage account. Okay, now if you come down, you can able to see the recently whatever you have done workspace, so lake houses that you have created, whatever monitor tabs that you have explored, so everything you can able to see here. Okay, so if you want to make something as a favorite, you can just check it, so that will go into the favorite. If you see favorite, we have only my LH1, right? My lake house one. If I just click on MS Lakehouse Demo 1 as a favorite, so that will be there in both in the favorite list also I can able to see. So it will basically help me to quickly access it. This is one thing. Next thing, if you want to filter out, right? So if I want only workspaces I want to see, you can just filter out. I want to see only Lakehouse, you can just select the Lakehouse. You want only data sets, you can see the data sets, right? So you can also just by product, you can able to filter out by time. Yesterday whatever I have accessed, I want to see. Okay, previous week whatever I have accessed, I want to see, like that. So by owner, so Malaya Somla is the owner, my workspace is the owner. So if you want to see by owner, like this. Now if you want to basically filter out, sorry, if you want to sort these things, okay, so you can able to sort this just by click on this. You can go as a ascending or descending. So by type, if you want to do the ascending or descending, by opened, if you want ascending, descending, right? So this is now last to recents. So if you go here, so recent to last opened files, everything you will be able to see in the home tab. So that's how you can able to use the home tab for, even if you want to create a new lake house, you just click on the new lake house. It will ask you to create a new lake house. So my new lake house. Okay, so what is lake house? It's a storage system. So we will be a storage system. Basically we will be discussing about this particular lake house. We will not have so many storages, everything will be in a single storage called a one lake. So within the one lake only all the data will be stored. So we'll be discussing about those things later. Okay, so that is a first tab all about the home. Let's quickly explore the create tab. So it is a place to create all artifacts at a single place without switching between the experiences. Let's say if you want to create a data science, you need to switch to the data science experience. If you want to create a data engineering pipeline, you need to move on to the data pipeline, like data engineering experience. But instead of moving between the experience, if you want to create any service, any artifact, you can simply go to the create tab. It will show you all the artifacts which are available. You can choose anything. It provides a wizard-based interface to make it easy to create a new object. So it just to show you the kind of a widgets, you just have to click on the widget. Just we have seen the lake house how we created. Like that, it will show all the artifacts. You just click on whatever artifact you want to create. It will allow you to create. You can validate your inputs to ensure that you create objects that are valid and compliant with your Fabric environment. What it means is when you are creating the names, all those things are basically valid and compliant with your Fabric environment or not, you can able to check. And it will give you information in which workspace objects are getting saved. So when you are creating, it will tell you in which workspace you are creating. So what is workspace, all those things I'll be discussing in today's session itself. So now let's move on to the second tab called create tab. See here, so data engineering experience, whatever you can able to create, data factory experience, whatever you can create, in data science experience, whatever you can able to create, data warehouse experience, whatever you can create, Power BI, real-time analytics, whatever you want to create, everything it is going to show you. So whatever you want to create, you can able to choose and you can able to create. Let's say if you want to create a warehouse, you just click on this. You can say my SQL data warehouse demo one. You just click create. So that's a very simple way we can able to create it. Okay. So not only that, right? So as we discussed, so when you click on this, in which workspace you are creating these things, how you will know? It will tell you current workspace is my workspace. Current workspace you are in is my workspace. So if you want to create something in some other workspace, you need to switch the workspaces. How to switch the workspaces? How to switch the workspaces? So what it is saying, this data mart does not exist or you don't have permission to access it, meaning it is not allowing me to access that particular data warehouse which I have created, meaning it's not created due to some permission issue. As it is in the preview, we are still facing some issues. Okay, let's say now what you can do is you can just see your different workspaces that you have. If you click on the workspaces, basically you can switch between the different workspaces. My test. Okay, so if you click on my test and click create, now what happens, you will be in the my test. So if you are creating something, that will be created under a my test workspace. Okay, so that is all about our second workspace called create. The third one is browse tab. So it allows you to browse and search for workspaces, data sources, pipelines, machine learning models. It provides a filter sorting options to make it easy to find the objects you are looking for. We can see artifacts based on the recent favorite shared with me, if someone shared with you. Okay, let's quickly see that particular browse tab. So if you just where you can able to see that browse tab. So browse tab is not showing because it is occupied with all your workspaces. If you just close those things, you can see the browse. Okay, so once you click on the browse, you can see again here recent favorites and shared with me. If some data set shared with you by some other person, right? So those things you can able to see here. So if you marked something as a favorite, if you see we have marked this as a favorite MS Lakehouse demo one, you can able to see those things. You can see here we can apply the filters on a different category. So here we have only Lakehouse, that's why it is not showing. But if you have a multiple category of things, it will show that particular filter as well. And you can also filter out based on the time when you have accessed. I want to see the things that I have accessed last Saturday or last Sunday. I can just go and say like previous week. Okay, previous month, whatever. So recent means recently, whatever you just see here, it is asking the type, right? Because we have different types of things, artifacts here. So workspace, warehouse, lakehouse, data set, SQL endpoint. So whatever you want to filter out, it is showing everything here. Okay. So by product, by time, so by owner, you can able to filter out by anything. And as I mentioned, you can even sort it by anything. So the main advantage of the browser is for browsing for something which you want to find out quickly. You can even search for your workspace or your lake house or your data warehouse, whatever you can able to find quickly. So recent favorite shared with me also, you can able to find it in the browse tab. Okay, so let's move on to the next tab. So One Lake Data Hub. So what is One Lake Data Hub? It basically allows you to unify your data from different sources into a single view. This can be helpful for data analysis and machine learning. So we can see all data, your data and organization shared data in the One Lake House, and you can also search for a particular artifact, filter the artifacts and sort them as required in the One Lake data. Okay, let's say One Lake Data Hub, if I go, you can able to see here all the data. You can see only your data. You can see organization has shared something. Okay, so you can see that particular data. So this is the data, so which you are basically maintaining. So this particular data you can able to basically, again, you can search for this. You can filter out here based on different things. You can sort these things. Okay, if you want to sort it by this, or if you want to sort it by refresh time, so whatever you want to do, you can able to do these things in the in one data lake, One Lake Data Hub. Okay, next, workspace. So workspaces are a places to collaborate with the colleagues to create a collection of artifacts such as lakehouses, warehouse, and reports. For example, so in the single fabric, you can create a multiple workspace where different project teams are working. So each workspace you can consider as a for one project. So each workspace we can use for the one project where whoever is working in that particular project, they all can able to use that particular workspace to create the lake houses, to create the data warehouses, to create a notebooks, to create a pipelines, anything they can able to. You can create the Power BI reports, everything you can able to do, and you can able to collaborate those things. But we will be discussing more into the workspace in the very next session. So workspaces is the next tab. If you click on the workspace, you can see uh, different workspaces that you have. Okay, so this is the by default workspace which will be available called my workspace. If you go to my test, my first workspace underscore CP1 ABC comma, like this, there are different workspaces I created. Okay, if you want to create a new workspace, you can click on this, but we will be seeing this in the next session. So let's move on to the other tabs. Monitor Hub. So basically, Monitor Hub is just a monitor tab in the Azure Data Factory. It is basically for it is, you can consider as a station to view and track active activities across different products. Let's say your pipelines are running, your notebooks are running. You can able to look at those runs from the Monitor tab. You can also search for particular artifact. You can filter the artifact. You can sort them as required. We can filter activities by status like in progress, failed, cancelled, succeeded, jobs, right? So in the Monitor tab, we can filter out by last 24 hours. We can say jobs which are failed, jobs which are succeeded, everything we can able to do in the Monitor tab. Let's go for the Monitor Hub. In the Monitor Hub, you can see the different jobs that I executed, some data flow jobs, some data jobs. Okay, so you can see the, if you just click on this data flow, so there is basically there is a refresh app, and if you click on this, if you go to refresh history, so it basically show you when I have refreshed the data. So I have refreshed the data yesterday at 5:58. So again 5:31. So there are two times I have refreshed the data. Correct. So like that, you can able to see some kind of a data flows, pipelines, all those things. So here, if you see, these all are completed. Status is completed. But if you see a filter, you can see status by, you can filter out status by completed, failed, in progress, not started, unknown, by item, by start time, by submitter, by location. So there are a lot of options which you can able to use for filtering out. You can able to sort these things by names, sort them by item type, start and submitter, location. You can add the extra columns based on job type, capacity, duration of the job. So these columns you can able to add, and you can able to filter out based on those things as well. Jobs, to monitor the jobs quickly. If your job is running, you want to see the latest status, you can click refresh to see the latest status of your job. This is very simple. I hope everybody aware. Admin monitoring, basically where we will be adding people or groups to the workspace. If new person joined in our project, we can add the new people or groups to the workspace. We can extract the reports of a workspace usage, etc. Like who all are using this workspace, how much data we are accessing, what all things are happening in the in that particular workspace. We can able to monitor through the admin monitoring. So before we close this particular session, let me explain you other things as well. If you look at here, right, this is a place where you can able to sign out. Okay, so you can see how many days left to trial status. Basically, due to some reason, it is not showing. But I created almost like 10 days back. It should reduce it, but it is showing same thing. Okay, so next, if you have any feedback, you can share it here. If you want any help or support, you can raise it. Those tickets here. If you have a settings is basically a lot of things we need to discuss within the settings. So if you want to enable your capacity of the fabric, if you want to establish a lot of connectors for this particular fabric, you can go to admin portal and you can do those things we will discuss. All the notifications you can able to see whatever you are doing, all those notification try. Okay, so for example, if you see above, there is a symbol which says Synapse Data Engineering. That is the experience. When I switch it to the data factory, the symbol will change to the logo will change to the data factory experience. You need to understand that. Okay, so and you can also see the home tab, but you can't do anything. You can search for the new items. Let's say I want pipelines or data flows, right? So you can able to search for your data flows that you have created, your lake houses that you created. Okay, my lake house demo one, something like that I created, right? I did not remember the name. So demo, if you just click, it will tell you with demo whatever lake house is, whatever is there, everything it will bring it here. Okay, so that's all for today. So like in the next session, I'll be talking about the workspace. So we will create our first workspace in the next session, team. So that is also very important. I request all of you to go through all the sessions in this particular series. So finally, I request all of you to subscribe my YouTube channel to get more content on the fabric and other stuff which will be useful for you to do day-to-day work in the real-time projects. Thank you.